Greetings and salutations, friends, to an ArchCast special. Well, today we are going to have a look at the topic of Trench Crusaders and what the hell happened with it over the course of the last week or so, where the game blew up and then immediately imploded again just as rapidly, seemingly for political factors. We'll go through the various details today, and I'll ask your patience, as there are quite a few sources that we need to look into here, as despite this going on for about, a day and a half, a lot of shit happened in that day and a half. So, buckle in, I suppose. So, first and foremost, what is Trench Crusaders? For anyone who is not aware of what this is, which wouldn't be too surprising as it's, well, it isn't even just new, it basically doesn't exist yet, really. So, Trench Crusaders is a wargame, miniature wargame that is currently being created by the creator of Mordheim, in fact. Tuomas Pirinen or something like that, and it is based almost entirely around the art of Mike Francina. And this is one of both the strengths and the weaknesses of this setting, because normally, of course, you'd like to base the art of, off something, whereas here the universe is in a sense built off the art rather than the other way around. At least that's how it appears to be so far. Now, I'd like to show you Mike Francina's Twitter account, but, well, some of his art I do not believe to be YouTube-friendly, shall we say. So, instead, I'll show you some of the more curated pictures I found to give you an idea of this. So, the background of Trench Crusaders is that shit has gone down. Shit has really gone down, in fact, after the Crusades. Apparently the Crusades were a success in this universe, but the Templars themselves elected to open a portal to hell for reasons that are, as of yet, unexplained. But supposedly, after capturing Jerusalem, they decided to delve down into the depths where they came across some rather unfortunate pieces of literature, and this then resulted in the opening of, literally, gates to hell, through which all kinds of interesting creatures started pouring forth. These interesting creatures then went about conquering most of the Levant in just a couple of years, with the rest of the world reeling in desperation against an invasion by forces it barely understood and had not the slightest chance in fucking hell, if you will excuse the comparison, of actually stopping.
Service guarantees
that until literally God decided to get involved in the conflict, as the angelic forces sided with humanity against the demons.
Guarantees citizenship.
This being literally the only reason why humanity was able to survive, in essence. This then is the backdrop for the series 800 years later in 1914. Thus the kind of World War I style aesthetic on the human characters. So it's kind of like, see, a lot of people has looked at this and said, okay, this is 40k, right? Personally, I don't see 40k. If I'm to be honest, I see more Diablo. If anything, that's what I see. Diablo is what I see, but hey, maybe I'm just weird. And with a healthy dose of World War I aesthetic. Though, I will say, that has kind of fallen a bit more by the wayside, because this Now, this is 40k, and now this is one of the earliest artworks, I believe, that popped up online. Now, this is 40k right here. A massive, like, no man's land fortification, huge guns, trench lines, bunkers, little dudes with bolt-action rifles. Here I see the 40k comparison quite a bit. And certainly some of the demons, too, are quite grimdarky, no doubt about it. This setting then eventually launched a Kickstarter campaign, although, well, this wasn't really a Kickstarter campaign for the game. It was, I would presume, a bit of a testing the waters kind of thing, where they launched a single miniature, the Communicant Anti-Tank Hunter. I believe this is the only Kickstarter, and they were asking for, I think, £2,000 or something. So this was very much so like dipping their toe in the pond and seeing if anyone was interested, if they could get a model made, and what else could happen. And it was very successful, raising £36,000, which for, I remind you, what was at the time nothing more than the vaguest of suppositions, a really, really good result. It certainly isn't anywhere near the top-ranking Kickstarters of all time, definitely, but this was when I first heard of it as well. And there was, in essence, nothing to the setting back then, which is why I just looked at it and went like, okay. I'll check it out in another, 5 years or something. Because they hadn't really even begun on the lore back then. And even now, they are only very, very slowly beginning to evolve the lore more, as they also begin building it around the various art pieces. Let me see, can I, if I try to do this, what will happen? There we go. I presume you can see that? Yes, it looks like you can see that. So these are the way the laws are currently being communicated to the masses, via tweets, the Reddits, and these little cute PDF files that give some additional information as to the world, the characters in it, and the history surrounding it. And I started reading into this a little bit, and I think it's pretty damn cool. But then, shit started happening, so let's begin at the very start, shall we? This right here was kind of what began kicking off a lot of this. HU said, hey buddy, since 40k is being weird, might I interest you in something called Trench Crusade? This grew rather viral on Twitter, with 2.7 million views. Now, of course, a view on Twitter is basically somebody scrolled past it for, 3 seconds or something, but still, that's quite a lot. Particularly for a setting that hasn't had a whole lot of, well, anything in it, really, up until this point. This was a very obscure setting. I think their Twitter account had, 26,000 people at the time, and a very small Discord, and a very small dedicated following. Incidentally, thank you for the $3, Asmagan. 72 hours is all it took for this game to go from hype to depression failure. Sag. Yeah, kinda. And Dream donating $2 Australian. Thank you very much, sir. So, because this also then dovetails into 40k, right? Because, let's be fair here, the only way anybody is going to be interfering with 40k's absolutely overwhelming market dominance at this point is by capitulating on GW's failures, which it seemed like this game might have done by sheer goddamn coincidence, right? And this was then further fed into by something very weird that started happening. So a lot of people started looking at this and going like, okay, yeah, 40k is acting weird recently, so what is this? This looks pretty grim dark, right? This looks neato cheeto. And then, as if to add wood to the fire, this sort of stuff started happening. Rage of Sigmar blue tick mark. Oh great, all the culture war tourist chuds. I love the combination of words there. Have found out about a Trench Crusade. Now they're going to try injecting their real-world politics into it. Has anybody else noticed that the progressive left is literally nothing more than an enormous mirror-esque machine that takes whatever the right universally makes popular and then goes, this is my thing now. See, this is the funny part about the leftist argument that the right is not creative and can't make anything, whilst they seem to steal every single term we come up with. Hell, even our arguments, it seems here. And this got a lot of people scratching their heads. Like, what? we're inserting real-world politics into things, you say? What universe do you live in, sir? And this was but the first of quite a lot of these. Are you going to get sad when women are in that too? Or when demons are released by Christian Templar faction? This was another thing. This has been happening since the Custodes debacle, right? Where the idea has been that for some reason, 40k fans are fleeing from 40k because there are women in it. Not because of the lore changes, not because of the gaslighting or anything like that, but because there are women in it. That appears to be the narrative on the left wing right now, which confuses me tremendously as, well, we'll get to the bannings later, but the claim is anti-woke flee 40k to Trench Crusade because there were too many girls in 40k. Girls then ask why people are banned on Trench Crusade for vibes. Girl is also then banned for anti-woke vibes.
Service guarantees citizenship.
I don't know, bruh. It seems like the women are fleeing alongside with everybody else, but hey, what do I know? Phoenix for $10, thank you very much. Why is it always that prog types get into the position of the gatekeepers? If they're polytrotons, they should leave. Polytrotons? Now that's a word I don't recognize. And yes, no, obviously. This immediately began then as some sort of a weird effort to gatekeep Trench Crusade, because, this is incidentally why, again, why we have the shirts. We've gotten rid of a lot of those, by the way. It's a limited amount of shirts, so if you do want one, if you're interested, there should be a link down in the description below, because if you do not gatekeep, you will be gatekept. This is your daily reminder, the left has no problem with gatekeeping. They invented gatekeeping here. They are the ones who want to gatekeep you, and not merely from your hobbies. They want to gatekeep you from jobs, from employment, from banking, from access to social media and the internet. Our version of gatekeeping is nothing more than a defensive response to their initial attacks. And this narrative then continued. Neat, I'm waiting for chuds who think that Warhammer is their soil will get to Trench Crusade only to find that female communicant anti-tank hunters exist there too. Delicious chutter screech incoming. I don't know where this narrative even came from. Oh, well, no, actually, I do know where this narrative came from. It came from the deluded mind of the progressive, who for some weird reason thought that the females were the reason people were upset about female custodies. Again, with 40k being a setting that introduced a Sisters of Battle army in 1993, but hell, again, what do I know? That guy Gus, another $10. Thank you very much, sir. The Trench Crusade subreddit is the most abusive place online I think I've ever seen. Oh, we're gonna get to that. And this was then also paired with some other very weird stuff, like this right here. Why would anyone think this is an anti-woke game? This imagery seems to very much put Christianity and militarism in a negative light. What? Excuse... what? Okay, so I remind you, that little lore blurb I introduced you to at the beginning. So the Templar Knights were basically seduced by the devil to open the magical books of God, please don't read that.
Heresy's the question.
And
Fire's
unleashing
the
hell
answer.
upon earth. Demons then invaded and started eating/raping everybody to death, and humanity is currently only slim fucking lifeline is to create 17-foot tall genetically engineered super warriors imbued with Christian religion in their very genetic level. It is to entrench themselves with crosses literally everywhere. It is to bear the icon of Jesus Christ before them whenever they leave their trenches. It is to build towers in the form of everything good about Christianity. It is to fight with literally God on their side unless humanity wishes to be wiped from the earth or worse, and yet we're still in the position where Christianity bad. Motherfucker. See, this started in 40k, right? With the whole, like, the Imperium are the bad guys. Like, the Imperium is the only lifeline of humanity, but at least you can look at the Imperium and go, okay, sure, they're pretty abusive, right? They're authoritarian, most people live shitty lives, all right, you've got a certain degree of point there. Like, could there be reforms in the Imperium? Probably not without collapsing the entire Imperium, no, but okay. It isn't the good guys in accordance to our modern-day sensibilities. Fair enough. But in Trench Crusade, well, these are the enemy. This is what you're fighting. You are fighting literal, biblical, worst possibly conceivable form of hell. You are fighting the worst things that go bump in the night. You are fighting the things that wish to reduce humanity to, best case scenario, toxic sludge with the capability of thinking and realizing just how horrible its existence is. And that might be the preferable alternative to being dragged into hell and tortured for all eternity. And yet, still you have people going like, oh, this makes Christianity look pretty bad,
Fire
bruh.
is the answer.
There's a certain point at which words are no longer effective, at which no quantity of verbiage is capable of expressing the idiocy of the opposition in these cases. You know, Malex Knox for another $20. Thank you very much, sir. Hey, Arch, I'm making my own Dieselpunk-themed TRPG game and wargame. I have my own concept art and lore with some potential minis. I wonder if I should finally put my hat in the ring with everything going on. Why not? You should send it to me on Twitter if you've got it. I'll have a look at it. Lord of Opossum, $2. I was very excited about this, but now I don't care. That, I expect, is a shared sentiment. Sentinel Rex, have these people ever not heard the phrase onward Christian soldier? What is part of our religion, spirituality, and physically it's based? And this wasn't the only example, of course not. Let me show you probably the single best one, right? Quinn, like, you guys need to honestly realize that when you talk about, hold on. You guys need to honestly realize that when you talk about purging Xeno scum and how badly you want to fucking crusade against heretics, people aren't stupid. You want excuse to do violence. Oh, but the other sides are literally demons is not a good argument. You're arguing that violence is permissible in response to is permissible in response to visible otherness. The visible otherness in question. Yes, I am arguing that violence is justifiable in response to this. I am arguing that every day of the week I am. That yes, no, if your opposition looks like this, violence is not only justifiable, it is the answer. It is the solution. It is the only goddamn solution. Oh, God, help me. Oh, Jesus, help me. Just, okay. Again, if this is the enemy, then yes, violence good. Violence Violence not only good, violence intrinsically positive. Here, let me show you one of these. So this is, I believe this is like a heretic warlock or something. Where is it? Where's it? Plague Knight, Hells of Beelzebub, not on Azib, Zuzab. I don't remember the name of this one, but a warlock or something, I think. So, a warlock is a Christian preacher or a zealot of some form that is captured alive by the forces of hell. He is then brought to hell, where he is flayed alive repeatedly with demonic symbols carved into his bones by red-hot iron pokers. He is then rejuvenated and has this done to him again and again and again, however many times is required, until he converts to become a lich warlock. He is then clad in armor, which constantly burns him, and is sent back upon humanity to spread violence, pestilence, plague, and pain forevermore. This is the enemy. Yes. Violence okay. Violence fine. Violence desirable. Violence positive. Violence virtuous, in fact. Violence very good. Violence tremendously good. And again, the whole thing about two is you're arguing that violence is permissible in response to visible otherness. Visible otherness.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Yes. That. Oh my god, your brain on leftism. Your motherfucking brain on leftism. I don't.
Fire is the answer.
I don't think there's anything else to add. Yeah, no, I don't think there's much else to add. Like, yeah, sure. In many universes, this guy would look like a bit of a bad dude. You know, he might look like a bit of a bad dude. There's people burning in the background. He's covered head to toe in red, etc. He's got a giant skull on his greaves, and he's stepping over the burnt, charred bodies of dead people. This might be a pretty bad guy. But when he's fighting this, no, I'll join with the giant dude in red any day of the week. Thank you very much. Oh, visible otherness. That one just fucking slays me. I swear to God.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Zero firewater. If Christianity is there to save you from certain death from the hands of the demons, how are they the bad guys? Even if their version of Christianity was as brutal as the Imperium, it is better than death.
Heresy's
yes. And
the
again,
question. Fire is the answer.
You will be goddamn lucky if they kill you. You should consider yourself blessed if they merely kill you. Again, that was what was so interesting about this universe, because it is a goddamn horrific universe. Real old school Diablo lore, like the Butcher lore. Like, we sent everything against him and he laughed and ate us alive level lore.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Getting killed is the least of your worries. And yet, still, there are people who will look at this and go, yeah, but the demons are probably misunderstood. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nolly, $5. Boy, what did Christianity do to get these fine folks to side with the actual hell itself? Seriously, what is the logic? How do you come to this?
Citizenship.
Well, okay, I can sort of explain this, right? Right, how do you arrive at this position? How do you get here? How do you get to the point where you will condemn Christianity, even if the alternative is the flesh-eating rape demon of the 7th levels of hell? You get to this level by literally being incapable of separating fiction from reality. That's how you get here. By being so constantly politically turned on that you cannot view a setting or a universe as something separate. Everything must be a commentary on real life. Everything must be analogous to real life. Everything must be political. Everything must be always on politics. That's how you get here. Because at that point, the demon is a theoretical. The demon doesn't exist. The church exists, and the church is not progressive enough, even considering the current goddamn pope. And thus, the church must be evil, regardless of the kind of absolute, inhuman, pus-festering monsters they are fighting. That is how you arrive at this position. A complete and utter inability to separate fact from fiction. That's how you get here. That is the explanation. Cool Dudes, 4208. Why does the left always see the actual demons and go, ah yes, they're just misunderstood. They're actually the good guys. Again, no matter how bad they are, so long as they are in opposition to a real world thing that they don't like, they're gonna be the good guys. Taras Shvenko. There needs to be a short story about a group of people led by a person who tried to make peace with the demons and ends with his followers cursing his name for all eternity for their fate. I mean, yeah. I've got one plus, $2. Demon Lives Matter. Oh, God help me. Because luckless, the craziest one once again side with the demons. Literal demons this time. Just to avoid having to praise something they hate. Yes. Subject Noble, $5. Hey Arch, I just finished reading Darkness in... Don't scroll. Darkness in the Blood by Guy Haley, and I absolutely hate it, so here's 5 for you to read it and stuff like I have. That's not enough. I've never been a fan of Guy Haley's writing. Lord of Possum, these people think demons are like the ones from Has Been Hotel. Unironically, they probably do. Xenothium 15.
Service guaranteed
For $5. There's a great study showing the left can't understand the right's argument, but the right can understand the left's, and it's why they project so much. Oh yeah, no, I can absolutely see it. Oh, and by the way, since we don't have Dev here today, and we've got more of a loose topic, I am, as you probably noticed, going to do the Superchats a little bit intermittently. Elysian, Kentucky, I've accepted that the left's lack self-preservation. There we go. English.
Heresy's the question.
Your first
Fire
super
is
chat,
the
too. Thank you
answer.
very much. Jonathan Pillith. Phillips, God help me. Hey Arch, would a game with Command & Conquer style work with a Renaissance aesthetic mixed with steampunk and clockwork tech powered by the power of the Philosopher's
Heresy's
Stone?
the question.
Yes,
Fire is
I
the
believe in
answer.
fact they made a game like that. Age of Wonders? Age of something. I think they made something like that. Age of Clockworks? I don't remember. It was a pretty cool game. You can absolutely do that and be awesome. Disciple of Zinch. The demons are probably a misunderstood minority. Hey, they've managed to convert a third of the Earth's populace, so yeah, they are a minority. Boog, religion bad because daddy didn't buy me a 500k pink car. Correct. Balketh, but don't you understand the demons just want to hug people and bake them cakes? Well, they want to bake them into cakes, that's for sure. And Saipan Patriot. Personally, I love how in Trench Crusade all the factions, even the holy factions, have monster units. Yeah, because of course you do.
Service
Of
guaranteed
course you do. When you're
citizenship.
fighting this shit, what are you going to do? Here, I think, let me just check if this is YouTube safe before I bring it up here. Yeah, relatively speaking. So this is the Shrine Anchorite. The Shrine Anchorite is basically a dreadnought that is anointed in the blood of innocents before battle. It is covered with spikes inside to make sure the pilot is constantly in eternal pain and torment. And it is viewed as an honor to be broken on the wheel of the Shrine Anchorite before battle. People line up to volunteer to have their limbs shattered repeatedly and be carried into battle as a shield. The good guys. And again, considering what they're fighting, yes, the good guys. But right, okay, let's get a little bit forward in this this tale of nonsense. So, this also came with some other people like this. You do know that you're not welcome in their community, right? Have you ever seen the game's Discord? Like, okay, so you're not welcome in the game's community. Well, having seen the kind of monstrous shit they post, like... Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's just a demonic portrait of King Charles III. I mistook that for Trench Crusade artwork there for a moment. Apologies.
Service guarantees citizenship.
But, you know, having seen the shit they post, I would think that 40k fans would be very welcome. It seems kind of like the kind of things they would absolutely adore, in fact. But this is also okay. So Brendan Mint here says, I backed Trench Crusade months ago, and the discussion around it had always been super positive and full of excitement. Suddenly, though, the pronoun people discovered it and start saying dumb shit like chuds won't be welcome in this, and there are no good guys. So, everybody was happy, everything was fine, everything was going just great, and then suddenly a bunch of people with pronouns in their bio show up and start talking about how the chuds will not be welcome. Odd. And then, of course, the chuds looked at this and thought, come on, come on now, it's obviously a setting for 40k fans. What the hell are you on about? And started joining, because a lot of people got extraordinarily excited because of this, because the lore is awesome. The lore, the art, it's all the best parts of old school Diablo, right? It's awesome. It is really, really cool sounding. And so, of course, a lot of people were interested. I mean, here. Look at these guys. Actually, don't look at those guys. That's on the borderline of the TOS. I just noticed the bird. The Brazen Bull. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Again, the good guys. I love these things. These are adorable. The Shrine Anachronaut. Oh, where was it? Yes. Crusader Knights. So the Crusader Knights, having caused the whole bullshit to begin with, how does the church make sure that they can't turn evil again and, fall to temptation of joining the dark side? Well, they burn holy oaths, they flay them, then they burn holy oaths into their skin, into their bones, that will instantaneously kill you and damn you to hell if you so much as think about betraying the church. Yes. This is exactly the kind of absolute over-the-top insanity that 40k fans adore. So, okay. A lot of people started joining, because this did indeed look like a pretty damn snazzy setting. And then, randomly, bans started happening. So one of the first reports. So the moment I start questioning why Rule of Humanity and Gachi 3 were at first glitch removed from the 28 server, then show as banned, I myself find that I am no longer in the server. That was some bullshit. Okay, so before we move on here, I'm going to need to give you a little bit more backstory here, because the server that people were being asked to join, the Trench Crusade server, was not a Trench Crusade server. It was being hosted by another company called 28, which runs a magazine.
Citizenship.
So 28 magazine is a hobby and conversion magazine that has got several smaller war games and stuff and kit bashing stuff on their page. They're absolutely tiny, completely unknown as far as I can tell. The only other mention I have found of them was literally on Sig Marxism. So, there you go.
Heresy is the question.
And yes,
fire is the answer.
In retrospect, 28 magazine are very, very woke, having amongst other things written articles such as Love Among Angels, making the argument for gay space marines.
Service guarantees citizenship.
After all, there's always sex. God damn. And the left accuses the right of always being a little bit too horny. Oh, okay. Like, listen, I have this gay erotic fantasy about big buff men banging. Could we put this in your magazine? Oh yeah, sure, that sounds amazing. Okay, so I've got these big shaved dudes with little scars and shit having sex. And this is like a multi-page piece. Oh, God help me. I do also want to point out, Space Marines don't have sex. We don't even know if they have working plumbing. And, of course, they have also been on the side of female Space Marines, because this is, again, the reason why they're pushing for female Space Marines has nothing to do with representation. We've had them admit this to us time again and again and again. It is a political tool because it will demonstrate the surrender of Games Workshop. That is why they are doing this. So yeah, 28 magazine, woke as all hell. And they were the ones running the Discord server. Now, to return to this, so what does it mean? Glitch removed. All right. Well, you see, initially, some people were asking questions. So Big E was on the server. They were talking. There didn't seem to be anything weird going on. I looked into the server briefly. I'm still on the server, probably because they either haven't noticed me or they know that banning me would cause a hell of a lot more fucking trouble for them. And I looked in on the conversation. Everyone seemed to be getting along brilliantly, honestly. There was some talking in, wrong channels because people didn't understand the 28th magazine was running the server. And from what I saw Big E, I saw Marshall Bowman in there, and they just like, oh, sorry, didn't know, we'll go to the correct channel. That's what I saw. And these were then banned. Okay. That's a little bit of a weird thing to have pop up there. So people started asking question. I have looked at the banned accounts and he isn't there. So this is a moderator for 28. He won't be able to rejoin at the moment as the invites are invalid. That's not the same as a ban. So Steve here claims that they weren't banned. But another moderator says that no, if he can't rejoin, he's been banned. Weird. Okay. So people kept asking questions. Okay, then he got booted for no reason. Discord acting up. On that question, I honestly have no idea. Yeah, there's nothing about him in any logs, so he must have somehow removed himself from the server, or it's a bug on Discord's part. Weird. And they were double down on this as well. So they claim that there's nothing in the audit log. Kicks and bans are logged, there's nothing in the audit log. Okay, and another person was also banned with the same glitch twice. Weird. Very weird. Now people were starting to ask questions. So, okay, 2 people were banned. Glitches, you claim. As like, no, they weren't banned or anything. They just, Discord bug. Oh. And then, this, of course, continue
service guarantee
to the point where now they were just banning people openly. So Alex here got banned from 28 Discord for saying this, and a screen cap from the Discord. Also, removing someone based on vibes and not something they did or said is not a good look, LMAO. We don't care, LMAO. So this was what got Feral kicked off their Discord, or Alex here. Now, this was in reference to another thing that I didn't manage to screen cap, unfortunately, but people were being banned for, again, quote, vibes off the Discord when they started not giving a shit and just banning anyone and everyone that they could positively identify, basically. This was then eventually brought up to Trench Crusade, because bearing in mind, Trench Crusade did not own this Discord. I am excited for your game and wish to learn more of it. However, I am aware of a situation upon social media here, in which several people who have attempted to join the community Discord affiliated with the game have been banned because they have come from 40k. Trench Crusade. That is the official Trench Crusade Twitter account. The 28 crew are our friends, and if they decided to ban someone, we trust them implicitly and respect their decisions. So, this eventually then turned into a full burn, where the Trench Crusade thing, there was had several rooms, was completely destroyed. It was completely removed. It was
Heresy's
yeeted
the
into
question.
oblivion.
Fire is the answer.
It's come back up now to a degree, but it is completely empty. Here, this is the Trench Crusade right now. It is wiped completely clean. No one has posted in it since. Not a soul. Which is interesting as well. Again, this seems to have been a property on the verge of blowing up that Yito deleted itself out of existence to the point where now there's nobody in there. There's nobody talking about it. Nobody's having a conversation anymore. And, okay, so let's look at some of the reasons, right? So maybe people were acting up, okay? So, Magenta Man here. So this is in response to, you call this ban-worthy. So this is he claims the reason he was banned, and this seems to have been backed up by other people, is that he was theory crafting. He was previously theory crafting Vikings, Native American alliance. It is no secret that the Aztecs were evil by historic records alone, as they straight up sacrificed conquered people to their gods, so aligning them as evil isn't unreasonable if you've got a pair. This was in response to this, which was then deleted, but I did manage to catch it. Please tell me again how you were banned for no reason after you went on a near constant "the Aztecs were inherently evil, bloodthirsty savages" triad for 48 hours.
Heresy's
So
the question.
that is what he was
Fire
banned
is
for,
the answer.
apparently, right? Now, somebody else managed to actually catch that. So this is the same guy, I presume, here, Magenta Man. Honestly, how I see is that they get kicked in by a combined local natives and Abrahamic-supported
Heresy's the
Inca
question.
empire.
Fire is the
When
answer.
Tenochtitlan is about to be besieged, the Aztecs side with hell and push them back. Tenochtitlan becomes surrounded by a lake of blood, and the shore is lined with bones. Demons wade out of the water. At the tallest pyramid is a heart that beats, radiating maleficent energies. At the center of this new Aztec empire, beats with a terrible pulse. That's what he was banned for. That is the theory crafting for which he was apparently banned. Is anybody gonna argue that in a world where blood sacrifice and demons are real, the Aztecs wouldn't side with the demons? Is anyone gonna make that argument? Is anyone going to argue that the literal doomsday cult sacrifice people's beating hearts to keep the sun rising would decide to not side with the demons? Is anyone going to make the argument the Aztecs would rather side with Christianity? Anyone? Please. Please. I'd like to see it. No, this is obviously entirely reasonable. This is an entirely reasonable take. And the only reason I could possibly see this being ban-worthy is because it puts the minorities in a bad light, I guess. Minority as in extinct civilization. I guess you can't get more of a minority than that, I suppose. So yeah, vibes and shit like this and asking questions of the moderators appear to be the reason why most people were getting banned. Which is not a very, very good look. And we'll get to why, because we know why. Because, okay, maybe they were all acting out. Maybe they were just being banned for being assholes, despite evidence to the contrary. Well, we've got evidence for why they were banned too, but
Heresy's
first,
the
before I lose
question.
complete control, let me
Fire
do
is
some
the
more of the
answer.
super chats before they run away from me. Let's see. Hero U45. Always a good day when there is no Dev. Poor Dev. Dev betrayed me. It's like, I'm going to prioritize EFAP over Arch. Oh, I see, Dev. Zero Firewater. So would Dev flip a coin to choose which side he'd choose, or just side with the demons? He'd side with the demons, obviously. It's Dev we're talking about here. Dev decided to betray. Dev is what we call a bad human being. Just how it is. Sandoom for $10. See, all this makes me long for the nuns from the 1920s to 30s. Imagine these nuns seeing all of this and what they would do to these crazies. I'd imagine use the leftists' own tactics against them. We can but hope. That guy Gus. This entire thing made me decide to create my own tabletop game, Demons on Earth, but more inspired by Doom. Any advice or help you can give me? Well, start with the premise first, and then work from there. Establish the rules of the world, and then build the lore from the rules of the world. It'll help you keep consistency. Ranger Steel. In any scenario where one of these left-wing nutjobs gets teleported to this universe, they would either immediately switch to the side of the Christians, or they'd end up dead the moment they try to hug a demon. Yes. Counterstructure. It might be the non-human attraction that seems more prevalent on the left. I mean, every hole's the goal, I do suppose. Scarfy the Strange. Lovecraft mythos is all about people siding with demons. It doesn't end well, I'd imagine. Tag the Mage. Call Cuckum and make him separate Discord and popularize it. That might be happening. We'll get to that too. Radio Returf. Hello, Arch. I and a friend of mine intend to present our steampunk RPG and book series in October. Would you be interested in hearing about it? Sure. Send me either over Twitter or on my email, archwarhammer@gmail.com. What do I care? Where is Kibbs? I haven't seen him for some time. He is busy being a woman on the internet. Psychogenesis. Being a patron of Mike's and having talked to and worked with him, it is sad that Trench Crusade is getting infected. The community is actually great. Well, was. Phoenix, I was excited for this, and then the pronoun people came in and shat all over it before it got off the ground. No fun for non-wokoids, it seems. I did also, incidentally, reach out to the Trench Crusade crew and ask them for a comment on this, and they have not gotten back to me at all, which is a little bit disconcerting, as basically all I asked them is, will you accept non-woke people into your fandom? Sentinel Rex. There's nothing to stop us from to use their term invade a space like the left do. The difference is we will be welcomed while the left shrieks. Scarf the Strange. Isn't this just Hellgate London for wargamers? Sort of. Hellgate London 2 had a really cool lore. I just wish the game wasn't so random terrible. Zedekai. The left cannot meme. They only project and steal. Accurate. Why hating? These people will be the first to go, and the rest of us will be cheering in celebration before we start screaming. And just bought my Gatekeep shirt. Thank you very much, sir. Do consider picking up some Gatekeeping shirts if you are interested. It is a limited run, and I think over half of them are gone by now. Dick Naylor. Everyone that backed this game deserves your fate. The guy that made it openly post about female space marines and equality on Facebook. This was a lefty hug box from the start. It's beginning to look a little bit like it. Tag the Mage and NTR and make a Discord and popularize it a la Anti-Pope. That might have to be the solution. The Devil Snader, I wish Dev was here to defend these poor people. He probably would. Boog, remember what I told you about Chaos Space Marines and Gatekeeping? No, it was probably ages ago. Rebel Umbreon. I can see how a lot of the imagery can be seen as offensive to Christians like myself, but how telling is it that the Skittles are acting exactly how they claim we act? It's rage-inducing. Boog, the Aztecs were evil, bloodthirsty savages. They were. See, a fact of history that people often forget is that the Aztecs were overthrown not primarily by the Spaniards, but by the countless other tribes that sided with the Spaniards against the Aztecs. And Steam Barber. Trench Crusade concept is cool. Makes me want to somehow make it work in my Warhammer But on Earth clone setting timeline. So, to move on to the what the hell happened and are they woke? Well, some people noticed some interesting things. For example, Wokehammer L's here. The he-him mini-moderator is at it again. He joined the same day as he begun to mini-mod. So, apparently, people were joining the Trench Crusade Discord in a moderator capacity on the same day as everybody else and started acting up and pointing out, like, you're not supposed to do that here, you're not supposed to do that here, you should get banned for that. Which is weird, and combined with something else too, which I find, again, oddly conspicuous. Gorgon Slayer 69. Now you gotta wonder if she had something to do with your ban from the Discord. Cloud Goblins cozies up the dev teams, same dev teams then start swinging the ban hammer. So, Shield Captain Kya, or Norquin Kya, is a rather progressive person. I had an argument about gatekeeping with her several months ago, where I basically say, do you think gatekeeping is bad? She said, gatekeeping is bad. That was her original opening argument, because I said, gatekeeping good. Like, okay, what is bad about gatekeeping? And her answer, in essence, is you're targeting the wrong people. So gatekeeping is good, is her position. And since she's fully adopted that, just for the opposite point of view. This, incidentally, is the left's entire argument against gatekeeping. Gatekeeping bad except when I do it. Professional hypocrisy. And apparently, met the team of Trench Crusade, nice people, I'd give them a look, show them pictures of Nunu.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Because, of course, that's what you do. So this happened shortly before the bans started happening. Now, correlation
Heresy's
does
the
not
question.
imply
Fire's
causation,
the
etc. But that is weird, because when I went to bed on the day all of this blew up and I joined their Discord, I looked in on it a couple of times and I saw nothing out of the ordinary. I saw nobody acting up. In fact, the only thing I saw was people talking in the wrong channel and then being told by the moderator, hey, this is the wrong one, can you go over here? And then the people who were talking said, yeah, sorry, we'll take it over there. Simple. That was all I saw. Then somebody joins, contacts the moderator team.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Weird. And then people are starting to get banned. Huh. Now, I don't know about me, about everybody else, but whenever I join a server,
Heresy's the question.
the first thing
Fire's
I
the
do
answer.
is not usually to go to the moderator teams, like, hello there. Hello. Hey, moderator team. Hi. Can we have a talk about some of the new people on your server?
Service guarantees
Very
citizenship.
weird. Very suspicious. And, well, her interest in the game apparently lasted as long as everybody else's, considering this is the current state of Trench Crusade. Alrighty then. This then was also followed up by the other members. So, your friends, this is in reference to Trench Crusade saying that the moderation team of 28 were their friends. Your friends decided that during a major wave of interest for your game, it would be smart to start randomly banning people and actively saying that they hope that people might be chuds, their words, would get banned driven out. With friends like these, who need enemies? So, to be fair, the point is more so driving out chuds, you know. Yes, I know, just had to tease you guys with future delights. This is a moderator. This is the previous moderator that claimed that there was no evidence in the moderation log for anyone being banned. And this also continue. Hoping any unsavory types will move on at once they realize that this is an inclusive and progressive community. Now, Pride Month doesn't start until June, and we'll have something fun for everyone then. Make the icon Pride-themed. Yes, these people are almost certainly political. If the gay Space Marines, etc., which, did I delete that one? I probably didn't close that one. If the gay Space Marines articles running on their site was not an indication of their political leanings somehow, then them quite clearly stating that they are banning people for politics should hammer that one home pretty damn solidly, I would think. Well, there is the remaining question. Does the wokeism stretch to the Trench Crusade team? Well, there have been more reactions, of course, after all of this happened. Once the bans started happening, and once it was clear that the bans were for a political reason, all of the progressives leapt on it, of course, as a victory. Robert Ewens here, for example. The devs behind Trench Crusade have dealt marvelously with an influx of anti-woke fans who fled Warhammer after Games Workshop announced that girls would now be slightly more common in the game. You don't have to engage with these people, they're poison and can't be reasoned with. So again, the funny thing here is, this is the one I responded to, I think. 40k fans are fleeing Warhammer because there are too many girls. In a post you respond to where a woman is banned from the Discord of the thing you're cheering on for her vibes. I see. I don't know, bruh. I'm pretty sure I know who the poison is here, and I'm pretty sure I know who the women are apparently fleeing from as well, weirdly enough. Again, hypocrisy is hardly anything new from the left, but it is always fun
Heresy's
to
the
see it
question.
so
Fire is the answer.
blatantly presented, isn't it? It genuinely is. Like, our setting is so progressive. Yay for this setting, for banning women. Current year, folks. The current year. And there was also this one, which I thought was rather funny. So this is from the Reddit. Trench Crusade is not your tradcats, so traditional Catholics, political haven. It looks like we had an influx of folks who think Trench Crusade is anti-woke and promote traditional Catholic values. Here's some facts for you. 28 Magazine is punk and queer and always will be. I do want to point out, by the way, I am pretty sure by definition you cannot be punk if you are part of the largest establishment currently in the world. I am pretty sure you cannot claim to be punk if every single major corporation in the world uses your flag. I am pretty sure you cannot really be punk when you are practically just an industrial tool for the companies who will paint themselves in your colors to increase their sales for a month. I am pretty sure this is the antithesis of the definition of a punk. But again, details, eh? Details, the fucking tales. The writers and artists of Trench Crusade are outwardly not right-wing. They range from pretty moderate to progressive. This too, by the way, does appear to be true as well. There was a, I believe there was a, from the, yes, there we are, from the art creator Mike Francina here, where he liked a reply saying, seeing far-right religious zealots trying to latch onto Trench Crusade, saying it's pro-religious extremism and Christianity, while this is still your pinned, really proves they don't take 5 seconds to look up the artists. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that an artist is incapable of understanding the messages of his own creations, because once again, in a world that is being invaded by literally baby-eating demons, religious extremism and Christianity are very, 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 very good. Straight up. They are straight up incredibly good. When this is your enemy, Plague Knights, which are incidentally the most twisted, vile, mass-murdering sadists in a community, so unfathomably nefariously evil that hell itself instantly recognizes them as worthy of ascension, is your enemy, then yes, the Christians are the good guys. The Lord does not pitch the force of good of God as outwardly doing the right thing. Look at the Metachrist. The law screams as a critique, is grimdark, just like a 40k, is an approval of authoritarianism. Well, see, here's the thing. They have a whole lot of, how do I put it? Like, how do I put it? How do I put this? How do I put this, actually? Now I'm curious to myself. So, the good guy, right. The linchpin of this, I think, is that it was the Crusaders that unleashed hell because they started messing around with a book that they didn't understand. Okay, that does make the Crusaders retarded, at the very least, or corruptible at worst, but they were still corrupted by hell, duh. And so you still kind of gotta look at hell as the antagonist here. You can't go like, oh, silly those Crusaders. They were corrupted by Satan. Ha! They're so terrible people. Beelzebub tends to be a rather powerful entity, just saying. They might not have been fully in command of their faculties at the time. And as for the Metachrist thing, so the Metachrist thing is apparently the idea that you have clones of Jesus Christ, or that they have taken the flesh of Jesus Christ and they have turned it into a weapon of some sort. And this is also, to a degree, the implied law behind. Let's see. Do I have these guys here somewhere? I'm looking through my list of pre-saved art. I don't think so. I think I used it earlier. The ginormous monster knight dudes, that they are supposedly clones of Jesus Christ. I was like, okay. And they also go that it's, they sacrifice people. They do. They sacrifice people in blood rituals. They do. Because it's a way to anoint themselves. And they will expose themselves to enormous risks. They will burn out people, for example, to carry out communions with ancient saints. They will carry out loads of sacrifices like this, but there's the key word. Sacrifices. For example, the Council of Saints. So, in this world, saints can be brought back to life for limited periods of times. But doing so will always have hell attempting to interfere as much as humanly possible, because the saints will deliver the literal word of God in the conflict. And God is, of course, pretty clever when it comes to military strategy and how to beat the demons, unsurprisingly. To do this, they will sacrifice dozens of clergy members to fight against the forces of hell invading the heart of Christendom. And there's the thing. Sacrifice. If the Aztecs were correct, let me put it like this. Let me put it in a way the left might understand, right? If the Aztecs were correct, and if they did not sacrifice people, the world would end in fire and blood. Then the Aztecs would have been the good guys. Get it? Understand? If you are making a sacrifice that is horrific, if you are like the Atronox, the Shrine Acronox, if you are breaking a human being apart on a torture wheel, if you are crushing their body and killing them in such a horrific way, and that allows you to fight against hell, then yes, that is a good sacrifice. See, this is the thing that the left does not understand. It is all relative. If Christianity commits literal human sacrifice in order to defeat the forces of Satan, then that human sacrifice is good. Literally any act in opposition to the literal, absolute, universal definition of evil is good. See, this brings me back to the previous argument, right? That the left are incapable of separating facts from reality. Everything must be bound within their view of the current year's form of morality. In our world, breaking a human being apart and killing him on a breaking wheel is a pretty damn terrible thing to do. It would make you pretty damn obviously evil. But if this is done to protect the dreadnought wading into the literal waves of demons trying to devour everybody's children, then yes, that's good then. It's all relative. There is no such thing as absolute morality when you're dealing with fantasy in which demons are real. God help me. I wonder if this is just media literacy, right? If that is the thing. Because I think this goes beyond media literacy. I think this goes beyond the ability to understand a piece of artwork. I think this simply goes, it burrows down to whether or not you can separate reality from fiction. Whether or not you can view actions in the context of a universe that isn't your own, I think. But yes.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
You won't find support from any aspect of this game. If you're scared of the gay agenda, go somewhere else. Edit for context, there was a viral Twitter thread that had 200,000 plus views that heralded Trench Crusade as a way to get away from the wokeness of 40k and bombarded the Discord with that rhetoric, gatekeeping the folks that were already there for being too woke. This in response to that before it infects the Reddit too. This was deleted from the Reddit, by the way. This was apparently
Heresy's
too
the
woke
question.
for
Fire is the
Reddit.
answer.
And again, so bombarded the Discord with the rhetoric of 40k wokeness. I have not seen any evidence of this at all. I have not seen the left presenting a single screen cap supporting this argument. Not a one. I have not seen a single screen cap supporting that the people joined the Discord and then started for people to be banned from the Discord. I have not even seen the vaguest implication or indication of that. I have seen it on the left, but not from anybody else.
Heresy's the question.
It very
Fire
much
is
so
the
seems,
answer.
again, as if the moderators, who are very progressives, decided to start banning people for political affiliations alone, thus being banned for vibes, thus having then people come out and defending banning people for vibes. This eventually resulted in the Trench Crusade webpage removing the Discord from their webpage. Let me just let me check if that is still the case. Yep, it appears to still be the case. Yes, there does not appear to be any Discord links or anything of the kind on their page at all. So, yeah. This might be a good thing, though, because there was also an announcement made that Trench Crusade was going to start working on their own Discord account. Okay. Now, the question then is, though, what kind of Discord account is that going to be? I believe it's this one. As you know, there was plenty of excitement, also a bit of drama over the last 2 days. Some got their egos hurt. That's one way to put it. But most were just too pumped for the server to handle. We are still keeping the server in view mode only. You'll have to wait for a while. We're in the process of building a new server specifically for Trench Crusade with a great team of moderators. So although super hyped about the new fun game, we'll have a place to enjoy. It will still take a little while to get it all set up, but we'll share the link once it is ready. Now, whether or not this will be an actual Trench Crusade server or moderated by the 28 magazine is unclear. I did send a message to the Trench Crusade Twitter account where I asked them a few questions, such as simply, do you have any comments on what has happened? A lot of people claim to have been banned for literally no reason, and there seems to be evidence for that. Do you know anything about that?
Service guarantees
They did not respond to that. I asked them if they were going to keep banning people based on political affiliations, and if they agreed with the 28 team doing so. They did not respond to that. I asked them if everyone of every political opinion was allowed on their Discord or welcome in the community. They did not respond to that either. So, I'm not at all sure about the moderators of this new Trench Crusade Discord. And I also just want to, here's the thing. To get into a little bit more of the more meta argument around this, right? So, you've got a setting that is very, 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 very grimdark. Very brutal setting. It is a very horrible setting with very horrible lore that, again, entirely justifies Christianity going full crazy. That entirely justifies ragged, gas mask wearing religious zealots throwing themselves against the hordes of hell in innumerable countless sacrifices. That entirely justifies making 17-foot tall, super heavily armored clones of Jesus Christ to fight against hell. Because again, this is the opposition. This is the setting you are creating. And your target audience are the people who side with hell. bold strategy, Cotton. The entire setting seems practically tailor-made to attract, well, 40k fans. To attract people who are quite stridently anti-woke, honestly. And yet they seem to wish to pitch it towards the woke crowd. And I want to point out as well, I keep going back. Let's see, did I still have it up here? I think there's here. I keep going back to this. This is what I keep going back to. This is the Trench Crusade section of their Discord right now. I just checked it on my end of my Discord too. This is Trench Crusade right now. There is nothing there. All of the people who joined from the left, the people who contacted the moderators because they were so excited about it, not a one of them has gone back to it. Not a single one of the people who were so, oh, God, you've defeated the Chuds, good job. Not a one of them has posted in the Trench Crusade. It is a desolate, barren wasteland they have left behind them. Because the progressives' only actual intent is this. This is always the intent. It is not to partake in the hobby. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They are there primarily to ruin it for other people. That is their interest. Their interest is political, to keep you out of a thing. And yet these are the people that you have chosen to side with. That doesn't seem like a very clever idea to me. That does not seem like a very clever idea to me at all. Especially, again, considering that Trench Crusade is... It's preparing for its second Kickstarter, to actually try and kickstart the game itself. And they just nuked their greatest source of support. I mean, I guess time will tell if the woke return in sufficient numbers to make up for the absolute... the wasteland devastation that they have reduced the Discord to. And there is also then the question as to what is to be done about it. So Trench Crusade has cool art and a cool setting. And I don't care how much the creators or anybody else tells me that this is somehow a critique of Christianity. I don't see it. So, should an effort be made to claim this thing? Should an effort be made to invade this thing, in essence? Should an effort be made to do to Trench Crusade what the left has done to so many other things? Bearing in mind that the only way to do this would be to create an entirely separate ecosystem. Straight up. You would need to create separate Discords, you would need to create separate models, you would need to simply just parasitically leech off their art and their lore. Just take it all and claim it for your own, and then use it in whatever way you see fit. Or will this effort only embolden it? Because right now, this is a tiny setting. This is a mostly unknown setting that, considering the absolute scorched earth that they've left behind themselves, is probably going to continue to be a very small and desolate setting. And giving it more attention might very well bolster it in the long run. There's the thing. Is there a way to support Trench Crusade, the setting, without in any way supporting the developers of Trench Crusade? That is the thing, because again, there is no neutral ground here. You might have been able to argue that there was a degree of mutual ground within 40k, or a degree of mutual ground even maybe in Star Wars or the other settings. There is none here. The official Discord will never be open for people who are not of a progressive political leaning. They have already quite obviously and clearly stated that they are banning people for political reasons. that they are removing people from the server because they do not believe as they do. Let me make a poll. There. Should I make a lore video on my lore channel about Trench Crusade? That's going to be the question then. With bearing all of this in mind.
Question. Fire is the answer.
And whilst you argue amongst yourselves, I'll get back on top of the Superchats for a second. Anon tips $10 on Streamlabs. Thank you very much. Ah, yes, the dilemma. Damn yourself to a life full of suffering to protect the ones you love. Become a plaything for a demon. The left family values are so overrated. Can't deny that, bro. Can't deny that. Real Wholesaler. Hellgate London is how I got into Sabaton. Well, at least it did something, right? Skullthrone 888. Dev would stand in the middle of no man's land and say, "Oh, we have to wait and see." Also, what happened to Uzulu? Well, he did quite a few things wrong last time I checked in on him. Danny Inad,
Fire
is the gypsy coming on later? Not that I know. Not that I'm aware of. Hold on. Can I? I can't, can I? Gosh darn it. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm just... You may hear echoes. It's fine. It's fetching a link. Where was I? That's a good question. That's where I was. Gola82. Why can't you ask your long-distance girlfriend Kibbs to co-host? Well, Kibbs betrayed me first. He was the one who couldn't do the ArchCast anymore. So there you go. He betrayed. He betrayed. Boog, community managers in San Francisco, not chaos. Oh.
Fire is the answer.
I wouldn't be surprised if, actually. '28 Magazine, California. Let's see. Okay, well, no. No mention of it being based in California, which I find it almost difficult to believe, frankly. Johnson Smith, IZ Zinch has been busy spreading malice. He has indeed. Chaplain, notice they take the side of the demons. Oh yes. Oh yes. A Nugget Keeper, to be fair, only the God-hating Marxists could come up with such Christianity-defiling concept as a meta-Christ, whilst also wanting to fuck demons from hell. Probably. Mad Cat Dan again. Why wokists make this? Two bait-based chads? I mean, see, okay. I can definitely, again, I can see the argument, right? It's a setting in which Christianity is the dirty, ragged survivors doing unspeakable things. Okay. I can see how a leftist might look at that and go, oh, look at this. Christianity's actually evil because in this universe, they sacrifice people's lives in endless war. Oh, wow. That sounds terrible. What are they fighting? Satan? Oh. So suddenly their actions sound infinitely more just justifiable. A Chuck on Streamlabs. Chuck tipped $5. Let it all burn. Gray, just giving a tip, calls interesting topic, and no dev. It's small, yes, but
Service
haven't...
guarantees citizenship.
Scroll. But have to keep some money incentive for solo or other guests casts. Some monetary incentive. That's true. You must monetarily incentivize.
Fire is the answer.
A guy under a bridge. Very depressing to see. Could have been the new 40k. Might have. Ismail Thompson. Would you be willing to create a Discord that is for creators that want to talk game design and lore ideas? Can't find a space to get together and create with serious people. Possibly. I mean, I have heard that a lot of people have a hard time finding some kind of community Discord for all
Fire
of this.
Fire is the answer.
I don't know if I'm the right person to organize that, mind you, because I don't really have time to organize a Discord. So, you know, beyond making a chat room and then walking away from you all, that's about the extent of my contribution. Marked ashamed. Look up DBI Disadvantaged Business Initiative. Disadvantaged Business Initiative. Biden-Harrison. Oh, goody. Federal contacting with small disadvantaged businesses. Ah, the government is getting into DEI funding, is it? Of course they are. Well, you know, we're getting close to the election. You've got to put some bribes on the line. Last time was student debt forgiveness, and now it's governmental money if you are of the correct skin color. You know, that is actually a really oh god. That is such the current year. The United States government is putting forth an official initiative saying that they will artificially monetarily advantage people based on race. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. What can I say? It is the current year, and it shall remain the current year for quite some time longer, I'm afraid. Danny Boy, if Christian sacrifices martyrdom yields good results to help fight demons, would that be the case for Incas Aztecs? Not exactly evil if it works now. Oh, exactly. No, absolutely. I do believe, in the lore, it is very clearly stated that Christian symbolism does work against the demons. That's why they keep doing it. The Christian cross has power over demons. Christian sacrifice has power over demons. But it has power because it is done in the name of God. Because God in this universe is real. God is absolutely real. In fact, there are people who can hear God speaking to them. Like objective reality. There are people who can hear God talking, okay? So that's why it's effective. In the case of the Aztecs, unless they've been sacrificing to God this whole time and nobody's really informed anybody, then their stuff wouldn't work. This is also, incidentally, why the Islamic factions stuff works, because at the end of the day, they're also worshipping God. They're just, you know, naming him a different way. So there is an Islamic faction, and they too look pretty damn cool. They look a little bit, I don't know, like, the whole Ottoman style looks weird. I like their monsters. I don't like their regular dudes. Like, this guy just kind of looks like a Kriegsguardman that somebody, you know, changed. He's wearing powder flasks for some reason. What, is that a musket you have there, bro? Did you not figure out how to make SMGs? Like, the other guys are using Thompsons, and you're using muskets? That seems silly. But that's why their stuff works too. So if the Aztec sacrifices did work, then yes, they would be good guys too. Renegade 16, what's stopping us from taking this setting ideas and making it our own with Christians and trad? They can't copyright demons versus heaven in old history, World War I. They literally can't. They've also made such statements as we will never stop anyone from, like, kit bashing our models. So it is entirely possible to just go like, okay, I'm going to make a fan community. I'm just going to take all of your lore, all of your art, all of your rules, and we're just going to make this over here and condemn you, the official people, at every turn. You can do that, and there's no way they can stop you from doing it. A guy at the bridge. You gotta understand, the woke think hell is always just has-been hotel, and Christians are the ones in the wrong for having any morals or accountability. I also want to point out that heaven didn't do anything wrong in Has-Been Hotel. Literally nothing. Like, hell is obviously out of control. You can see hell from heaven. It should absolutely be a concern that their population is growing out of hand. And, okay, you kill sinners. Oh, no. How terrible. They're literally the worst parts of humanity. Awful. Awful. And seeing as we also know that redemption is a thing, well, it's their own fault if they can't reach redemption, isn't it? Heaven did nothing wrong. Phoenix. Wokoids on Twitter are celebrating removing the chuds. They never gave a fuck about the setting, just that their enemies don't have anything fun. Yes, absolutely. Unironically, this was always their goal. Where's the giant? There we go. This was always their goal. Nothing. Empty. Burnt to the ground. Because this was always their intent. Soul on the Lich. You're doing it wrong, Bart. You should have
Service
opened asking for real
guaranteed
names and faces, like good old Alyssa Mercante taught us. That's true. That's true. White Slan's become a member. Thank you very much, sir. Boog, the tainted, burn it and make something else. It's tainted, burn it and make something like it. JP, I hope this fails so hard that the creator loses all their money. I hope that ends up in a homeless shelter. Cruel, but maybe necessary. Finn Khan has been a member for 9 months. Thank you very much, sir. Keep in mind that there is an Islamic faction fighting in an uneasy alliance with the Catholic against the demons. Is this a critique of Islam as well? I guess so. I mean, at least the Islamic faction have the defense that they didn't open the book. You know, that's something. Scarfy the Strange. Blade Runner. Speaking English. Speaking hypothetical. Leftist. What do you mean hypothetical? Yes. It is ask a leftist what he had for breakfast this morning. He will not understand the question, but I had breakfast. Sentinel Rex, I propose we create a game that takes place during the broomstick girl era, where it's all real and it's right and correct to Minecraft them. Mean. Well, just literally make them conduits of Satan, I guess. White Slan, is there any way to rewatch your Nazi vampire RP? Not that I'm aware of right now, no. I think Dev tried to put it up on a friend's YouTube account, and it was yeeted by YouTube, so... Scarfy the Strange, I say do Cthulhu Mythos lore videos instead. Yeah, but, see, Cthulhu's gay, though. Cthulhu kind of gay, though. Belial, honestly, I think someone just needs to buy the IP. Yeah, but that would require somebody willing to sell the IP, and somebody with enough money to buy it. Second Fleet Actual for $10. Thank you very much. Arch, we need to use their own rules against them, since in most of Europe and Canada this could be called anti-Christian hate speech and hence a criminal act. Why not? Don PeteXX for a very generous $20. Hi Arch, hope you're doing well. I was wondering if you were planning to play Colony Ship now that it's fully released. I funded the game when you showcased it while it was in early access. If you were to stream it, play on hero difficulty. Maybe. I'm not saying no, but it's not on the list at the moment, and the list is getting longer by the day. ShadowFox2300. The problem with the people that are saying let it burn, guys, that it's just giving more ground. That's not how you win wars. You have to take ground. See, I do agree with this. There is a very positive argument to be made for taking things over. It's how the left did things. It is how they always did things. And if we could get away with doing the same, that could be quite beneficial. Nolly, yes, repurpose the tools of your opponent for your own cause, or the only one with tools for his cause will be your opponent. Don't be unprepared. Ismail Thompson, if you make the Discord, I will definitely join. Just need a space to talk the wild lore and consistency and test systems with. All I need is a space for creators. Scarf the Strange, I imagine the Aztecs using sacrifice to solve a temporary crisis, but once solved, they decided not to tell anyone, just to keep their institutions.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Maybe. Maybe. Nerdlord, is it wrong to still like Warhammer and Trench Crusade? No, it isn't. Like, you can still like the things you like. You just have to be aware that you might be behind enemy lines, I suppose. And that you might not be allowed to stay there if ever your opinions become known to the rest of the people inhabiting the space with you. Which is always a little bit of a concern, isn't it? I would say so. Let's
Service guarantees citizenship.
What was the other thing? I see currently a slight majority, well, a slight, 64% to 36. That's quite a bit, with
Service
1,000
guaranteed
votes.
citizenship.
That's a pretty good margin, definitely. I might end up making that law video then, after all. I was holding off on it to do it this week, or next week, more correctly, due to this. And of course, making a thing of your own is always to be encouraged. I'm doing so right now. And in my world, well, this is what humanity does to species humanity doesn't like. Listen, I am sick and tired of all of these universes where humanity needs some sort of reason or rationale, or to be sad about being aggressive or expansionistic. Some sort of like, oh my god, humanity is on the brink of annihilation. Humanity must be careful. Humanity, poor humanity. Nope. I think humanity should be the aggressors for once. I think humanity should be the ones starting the wars for once. I think humanity should religiously cluster bomb opposing cities into the ground, targeting civilian populaces simply because they think it's an effective way of making them fucking surrender quicker. That's what I think humanity should be like. And that is what I intend humanity to be like. Humanity in my universe will be a very bad humanity. Be a very mean humanity. Very prone to factionality humanity as well. See, I think I've come up somewhere with some really cool stuff for my version of humanity. Now, those of you who follow my Patreon and do the watch the Patreon exclusive streams, which I try to do once a month, but occasionally it just gets butted, will have known a little bit of this already. See, humanity in my world will make things like this. So, this is the Malice class. The Malice class was created when humanity was first uniting the solar system. Now, in my world, we'd already colonized a fair old bit before things happened, and everything went to shit. But we had colonies on Mars. The issue was, humanity didn't want to, just destroy the colonies on Mars, because Mars wasn't terraformed or anything yet, so they could easily just bomb these, because they were civilian habitats. They could kill the entire populace with a single orbital strike, and that would be it. But that would deprive them of a lot of resources. And humanity likes resources. They want resources. So instead, they came up with the Malice class assault tank.
Citizenship.
It fires missiles from its forward-launching fire tubes here. These fire white phosphorus gas intended to fill the entire habitable areas of colonies with white phosphorus. Because if you fill the entirety of a Martian colony with something that burns and never stops burning, well, the colony will be more or less intact. People won't. And thus the UEC conquered the solar system. I'm not going to go so far as to argue that they are going to be the good guys, but I'm going to go so far as to say that when they do something, they at least do it with a little bit of panache, Yes. I think they're cool little cute. They're cute little lads. They're cute little lads, I think. Thermite would melt the outer walls. They couldn't use thermite, chat. It needed to be something that inconvenienced humans first and foremost, and did only relatively minor damage to everything else. You gotta be careful. Again, all of the valuable resources are far more precious than some filthy, dirty rebels. Which is incidentally also why they will be possessing terror troopers as well. Just in case the populace ever starts getting uppity. Just in case. Just in case. It's very important to make sure that people remain in their correct places. Maybe I'll, Okay, so what I think is going to happen is that we'll wait and see about the next Trench Crusade server. And if they decide to open a Discord server for Trench Crusade, then I say flood that. And if they start banning people for political reasons, then it might be time to make an alternative Trench Crusade Discord server.
Guarantees citizenship.
And start building what is in essence just a similar, a parallel economy. Straight up, basically. Because, hey, here's the thing. If the devs, even if the dev is actually woke, right? Let's assume for a second that the artist is woke, that everyone on the team is woke, right? And they come in and they go like, okay, we're gonna make a skirmish game.
Fire is the answer.
And we're just gonna have fun with it. It's gonna be a cute little video game, and we're not gonna pull our politics into it. We just want to make a game. And they open a server, everybody's welcome, everybody's fine, everybody gets along and talks and everything, nobody gets banned for weird reasons.
Service guarantees
then I am entirely happy to just let that be what it'll be. Because in a setting like this, I somehow have a sneaking suspicion that it will end up
Heresy's the question.
outnumbering
Fire is the answer.
the opposition regardless. But if they don't do that, then again, parallel economy might be the way to go. And it's not like they have any real way of stopping that, I guess. Unless they start going the Games Workshop route. Which would be funny, as they did make a very big deal out of the idea that
guarantees citizenship.
They would never ban anybody from making their own miniatures, or kit bashing, or their own fan communities, etc. Indeed. I think there were even a couple of communities already created, basically to create that temporary, parallel economy. But again, so long as they can actually behave like decent human beings, then maybe coexistence is a possibility. Maybe.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Let's see. More super chats. Pokelder 2. New Assassin's Creed game features a large black man murdering dozens of Japanese people. What did Ubisoft mean by this? And cuckolding dozens of Japanese people too. And whatever they meant by it, I'm entirely on board with it. Zero Firewater. All this told me is a leftist even breathes near my hobby. I'll go to hell faster. So chat, let's gatekeep dev even harder. Is it possible to gatekeep dev even harder? Why doesn't dev just put all the old D&D streams on Rumble? I don't know. He is but a dev. He's a bit dev-tarded. And Telkri, all I can say is, do not give attention, time, and money to people that hate you, aka don't be an ATM. Yeah, that is an entirely valid argument again. It is, absolutely. And especially in a setting where you can't even purchase their miniatures to begin with, and the only thing that you could possibly engage with is a future Kickstarter, then yes, maybe simply not engaging with that Kickstarter might be the way to go about it. Why are you hating? This is like life has begun emerging on a new planet only for a Tyranid fleet to arrive in orbit. It kind of is. Yes. Like, Trench Crusade hadn't even gotten off its feet. It hadn't even gotten its, Kickstarter for its rules up and running yet. And then it flourishes brilliantly for but a nanosecond before being completely devoured again just as quickly. Stray Dog for another generous 20. My Lord Arch, this may be the last time I'll be able to listen to your broadcast. The enemy is rushing the trenches, and I am to be wed in 2 weeks' time from today. For the true God Emperor, may we be safe in such times. Thank you very much, sir. And congratulations on your wedding, too. Subject Noble, let's make Lord of the Rings great again. Oh, that will be a challenge. Reverend Norse, so your setting is humanity? Fuck yeah, I love it. Well, My humanity is humanity at its most authoritarian. But that doesn't mean in a good way. But yes, humanity is very fuck yeah, because humanity has some very strident opinions about itself. Uzun Karas 11. Ever read any of the few Corvus Belli Infinity novels? Good amount of lore in their work. Shame not any games though. Corvus Belli Infinity. Corvus Belli Infinity. No, I have never even heard of it. Let me Google it real quick. Huh. Oh, yes, I've never even seen this before. It does not ring any bells. It's a bit sad. Does look kind of cool, though. If a little bit futuristic-y. Steambob, Indomitable Human Spirit, The Sleeping Giant. A Dogirl, oh, whoa, these artworks look really cool. Zedekai, to the devs of Trench Crusade, don't call it a mud-filled trench, it's the bed you made. Now lie in it. Jonathan Smith. Zinj disciples don't understand critiques requires understanding of the other side. Thus their critique is of themselves. Pick question. Devil or
Fire
the Christ.
Is the answer.
Yeah, no, that is very much so a part of it. Absolutely. The again, it's the ability to understand not just the opposition, but the universe. Like, it's the ability to take into consideration the larger implications of a universe and a setting at the same time. In our world, a 2-3 meters tall, half-armored Goliath with an enormous gun, looking emaciated and covered in holy scripture, would probably be a rather disconcerting sight. But, on the other hand, if this is what it's hunting, then suddenly it becomes a very reassuring sight, doesn't it? Yes, it does. That's the problem. If you don't understand, not just both sides, but the implications of the universe that you are creating, then you are not going to be able to level any effective critique against it. This is why it's so easy to critique progressivism, because it's so unfathomably simplistic. It's so easy to understand their motif because, well, they're practically 2D people who look at this and think evil, and this and think, friend. God help us all. Sindus, the right tries to destroy settings it does not like. The left infiltrates and corrupts it against the right. This is why the left wins. Possibly, but I wouldn't even say that the right... I guess kind of. The right tries to destroy settings. To an extent, at the very least, the right will cheer on a setting's destruction in the hopes that it will eventually rise up again. It's like the idea, like, I would love to see Disney just go full on under. But I would like for Disney's properties to re-emerge afterwards. I would like to see 40K continue, but I would also like for them to see some financial disincentives for their actions as well. And as for taking things over, well, that's the thing. The reason why I've been arguing so vehemently for gatekeeping is because it's an incredibly effective tool. But it's very difficult to gatekeep something where the moderators are already gatekeeping you against it. That, more than anything, is why the left wins. That is probably why, again, when we have an example of a leftist moving into Trench Crusade, they are immediately, first and foremost, talking about how they contacted the moderated team first. That is indicative of the tactic they use. They decide, okay, how do I make myself, welcome in this new setting? Oh, I know. I'll contact the dev team first. I'll contact the moderators first. That's how I protect myself. And hey, it certainly does work. If anything, it is the right's possession of a moral compass and scruples that continues to hurt it so much. Buffachu has been a member for 11 months. Thank you very much for your continued support, sir. Hail British God, since we're talking about your game, 1, is it a tabletop RPG? 2, how are you going to stop the NPCs getting the tendrils into popularity? Well, seeing as I'm the one running it, I doubt that's going to be much of a problem. And no, it is intended as a tabletop wargame first around, and it is intended to be fully digitalized as soon as possible, because I want it to be on PC where people could actually get access to it with things like STL files, etc. As the digitalized version of the game will be the long-term aim and health of the game, but it will be a tabletop war game first, simply because it's easier to make the rules in that way first, and then start working out everything else from there again, essentially. And we're getting there. We've got quite a lot of work done on stuff like concept art. We've finished one faction almost completely. We're working on 2 more, which will probably have 3 factions at launch, and we're intending to pretty much drop this once it's all done, rather than necessarily dragging it out or doing any like lengthy Kickstarter periods or early access stuff or anything like that. We've got the resources to wrap a lot of this up, and then maybe we'll do some sort of crowdfunding thing for attention and for a little bit of extras once we get closer to release, probably. It is looking quite neat, though. I'm very happy with what we've got so far. We've got some really cool-looking factions already. Rather unique-looking as well, which I do enjoy. As we've spent a lot of time making sure that they've got a little bit of snazz to them. We've got a nice little universe on the way, I think. Mario Trujillo becomes a member. Thank you very much, sir. Scarfy the Strange, $5. Trends Crusade will be even more gay by June. At least Cthulhu being gay is just an insult to the gays. I mean, not incorrect. Steambub, also Yahtzee vampire game. Why not GURPS? I mean, I might have to. If we ever do another one, I'll either just take Rogue Trader rules, honestly, or something like GURPS. Sentinel Rex, Dev is a weak link in the gatekeeping force. He and his ilk shouldn't be allowed anywhere near your setting. Friends or not, that is how the dam breaks. Again, I'm not particularly worried about any infiltration into this. I am quite confident the circle is plenty small enough. And a bit of mechs. I tell you, trying to make a mech that doesn't look like every other mech ever made is very difficult. Very difficult, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Skullthrone888, ever heard of All Tomorrows? You'd love the queue. All Tomorrows. All Tomorrows. I have not. Let me Google it. All Tomorrows. Well, that is certainly a weird looking. That is rather surreal, yes. I have no idea what I'm watching or what I'm looking at right now, but it's certainly something. That is the only thing I'm certain of. Trin Tovoy Arch, do you think Alfarius Omegon are actually dead? Also, your FNAF Security Breach series is missing a video. Last one you did of the base game. It's on Rumble. It got claimed. Was it copyright? I don't even remember. It got demonetized anyways, and I did a big purge where I moved all of the demonetized stuff over onto Rumble. I know, it's hell to find anything on Rumble, but, you know, there it is. Wait, do I link to the Rumble archives in my description? I thought I set that up, but there's every chance... Did I? Ah, God. Okay. Need to remember to do that afterwards, to actually set up the Rumble archive link. Trintovoy, Arch, do you think Alfarius Omegon are actually dead? Yes. No. Yes. No. Brain, problem. No, I don't think they're dead. At the very least, I don't think one of them are dead. Which one? God only knows. But I'm pretty sure one of them is fine. Marksman of 117B, Art, did you tell a story about racism you experienced in Japan, and Yubi wants to have a Yasuke walking about as if it's normal for him to do so? Oh, yeah, no. The Japanese are remarkably racist. Like, they would all stop and stare and point at him and be, like, confused as hell. Like, what is he? What is that? I mean, that's why Nobunaga decided to take him under his wing, because he was like, you're a very weird color. I'll keep you as a curiosity. Literally. That was the stated reason. So, again, I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain that they would have treated him poorly, let's say. Very poorly, incredibly poorly. I think they would have been mean to him. I think they would have yelled at him. I think they would have allowed him to experience a degree of racism that would have been difficult to fathom in our world, shall we say. Very, very difficult to fathom. Also, I just think, hold on a second. I just want to show you a couple of things, actually, now that I'm doing so, sort of, kind of, anyway. Since we've covered most of the Trench Crusade stuff, I might as well, not necessarily shill, as there's nothing to shill just yet, but just give you a little bit of a show-off teaser of some of the cuter and cooler shit. As we have some concept art from my setting, which I think look absolutely stunning. And then I would like to show off. Let's just quickly save these somewhere I can find it. One, two, three. Excuse me, I wasn't organize it. I didn't plan to do this, but now that we are on sort of the kind of the topic, I want to. Right. Let's see if I can find them again, too, wherever I save them. Ah, yes. Something a bit heartening, because you know what? There are far too many universes that don't have a little bit of positivity in it. See, as much as I like the grimdark myself, being a big grimdark fan, I do also want something a bit aspirational on occasion. Something that looks like somewhere you'd like to live. Something that embraces a bit more a very different ideology than we have today. Something that values beauty. And yet also is a little bit thorny, shall we say, as this is some shots from an extraordinarily violent faction, actually. A very violent faction. But they are violent in the way of artistes. They believe violence to be natural. It's a part of basic existence. The strong will rule over the weak. And it is the duty, in fact, to rule over the weak. The strong must seize the galaxy, for it is not merely their right, it is their duty to do so. That does not mean that they'll have to abuse people, however.
Service guarantees citizenship.
As being strong means you have the liberty to build strong-looking things. It means you have the liberty to push your opinion onto others.
Heresy's the question.
It means you have the ability to build giant, enormous temples to your ideas on the planets of other people. And hey, you might even be able to bring about a better standard of life for them as well. And I do love these concept art drawings like this. The colorfulness of this faction is really quite something. It's quite standoutish and beautiful. You know, it's actually nice looking. And as much, again, as I do adore the grimdark, sometimes I like something a bit optimistic as well. Something with a bit more happiness to it. And yet also with a bit of realism. Because here's the thing. Happiness is good. Happiness is a good thing, obviously. Being strong is a good thing. But sometimes, many times, in fact, as they themselves have experienced, there are other species out there who were happy in their own way, you know? They were pleased with themselves. They were building their own civilizations, looking up into the galaxy and wondering, are there anybody else out there? What new friends could exist out there in the cosmos? And sooner or later, you'll get in contact with other species, like humanity, who don't care about your ideology, about how strong you are, how powerful you are, or how righteous you are. Humanity has figured out how to do cluster bombardment from space, and humanity does not give two fucks about how pretty your temples are. Only that they burn very well with all of those flammable silks, and all of those beautiful, beautiful plant decorations. Again, I gotta balance out the happy with a little bit of serious too. I really love the humanity in this setting. Okay, let me get back to these. Billy Baloney, Arch, have you seen the new tech thralls they showed today? Notice how they're all male and painted as Caucasians. Does representation not matter for ghoulish puppet conscripts? Of course it doesn't. Representation only matters when it's positive. Shadowfox2300, love to y'all try out the Iron Kingdom game. Iron Kingdom game. Iron Kingdom. Mechs. I remember these. I think it had like a ridiculously, overpriced game on Steam or something. Yeah, I remember this. See, the problem is there's almost no way for any other tabletop RPG to actually take off and become relevant. I mean, that's gonna matter for mine as well, though I do at least have the opportunity to get a lot of people to talk about it, if nothing else. James Kuhn, that looks cool, Arch. Will you only do STL, or will you find someone to do models for the Kickstarter? We will have models. There will be models to be offered as well if people want, official models, or they don't have a 3D printer. And there will also be like celebration models, like special models, done for special events and stuff like that. So we're gonna have some models, definitely. But we are primarily going to focus on STLs, because I want the thing to be relatively easily accessible. Dark Sieg, his first super chat too, thank you very much, sir. Hi Arch, there is a game called Warzone Eternal, and it's a reboot of the old game Mutant Chronicles tabletop game RPG. It is on Kickstarter. Warzone Eternal. By Nova Games, apparently. Warzone Eternal.
Service guarantees citizenship.
That certainly looks nice and old school. And looks very successful too. Raised $163,000. Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Heresy's the question.
Belial, dude, just get old school Vampire the Masquerade. Even the 20th anniversary was pretty decent. It compels a lot of the expanded stuff into one location. Maybe. Maybe I'll need to look into the old school books. Counterstructure, it's called martial arts for a reason. Yes, it is. And it stands up very poorly to cluster bombardments. Subject Noble, does humanity have cluster nuclear bombs? Actually, humanity prefers to use rods from God. In fact, humanity has invented a specific strategic bomber whose job it is to seed a planet with tens of thousands of meter-long tungsten arrows. The goal of this strategic bomber is to annihilate entire population centers the size of New York in single runs. They started doing this after they ran into a... Okay, so I don't want to talk too much lore, but this weapon was invented after they ran into another faction. These guys. These guys have no concept of civilians.
Fire is the answer.
There is no military-civilian distinction in their society. And so when the humanity, being all nice and cuddly and stuff, decides like, okay, you know, we're gonna defeat their armies in the field, we're gonna surround their population centers, and then we're gonna occupy them, and we're gonna be like, hey guys, we're humanity, we're pretty nice, you know, we're pretty tolerant, we're cool. I know we've got a bit of a disagreement here, but we'll treat you well. And well, the civilians started shooting at them, and continued shooting at them, and never stopped shooting at them. until humanity realized that the only way they were going to get anywhere with this was to literally discover weapons capable of eliminating entire population centers in one fell swoop. And that became UAC doctrine thereafter. Because hey, if you gotta do it once, might as well do it again. Marksman of 117B, so humanity is the space orcs of your setting. Nice. You could pitch them as such. Mario Trujillo. Working on my own setting, it is a fantasy where the world divided into a giant desert, a giant ocean, and a belt of livable land, sky islands, and a hollowed earth. Hollowed, not hallowed, hollowed. It is a pike and a shot level tech plus magic. That does sound cool. I do love pike and shot. Pike and shot is a criminally overlooked setting, which is really sad because I love pike and shot. Pike and shot is so cool. And there's like no games in it either. No games. There's literally one game on Steam that does pike and shot, and that's it. One single solitary title on Steam that does pike and shot, and it's literally called Pike and Shot. Such a cool setting too. Dragon Master Outcast 100 Nuzaki bucks. Thank you very much, sir. Incredibly generous. Hi Arch, here is a bribe to do waifu tier list with Dev. Dominate Dev through the power of your waifus. Waifu tier list. Waifu tier
Service
list
guarantees
with Dev.
citizenship.
Right, well, I'll keep it in mind. I can't promise anything, mind you. But I'll keep it in mind. Thank you very much for your super generous donations, though, man. Thank you. And since I can't guarantee anything there, if you want to remind me of this later, by the way, like screenshot your donation or something. And when we do a fund or something, you can just dedicate it to that. If I'm funding a game or chat wants me to play something dumb and they're doing a fund for that. Because I can't guarantee a dev waifu tier list. So I'll allow you to dedicate that to anything you want later on, if you want. 67% in favor of doing a lore video on it. Okay, I think I shall just screenshot that and wrap up that pool. It looks like the majority are in favor of it. 67%. Alright, interesting. Interesting indeed. Telkri. I can also recommend the graphic novel from Corvus Belli Infinity. The one named Outrage is pretty okay and is only 12 euros. Graphic novels, eh? That's cute. A bit of a multimedia approach, definitely a good thing. And Zero Fine Water, the circle is plenty small enough. Archley says, but it includes the purple state cruise that ferries leftists by the thousands safely with his communist ties. He does do that. It is true. He does carry over a lot of leftists. He does do that. But don't worry. We shall keep the leftists out of our setting. It shall be a purely right-wing setting. Despite, actually, I'll tell you this, humanity, they're probably more based on the left today than they are the right. And that's because when we sat down and tried to figure out a truly authoritarian setting, a truly tyrannical authoritarian faction, yeah, the WEF came to mind first and foremost. See, my guys aren't going to be space Nazis, nor are they going to go be space communists. They are simply going to be the single most authoritarian faction I could possibly imagine. And that's going to draw a lot of inspiration from a certain group of modern-day people. You know, you can yell at the left for a lot of things, but they did get very good at authoritative, tyrannical means. Anywho, I do believe that goes through everything I wanted to talk about and hopefully gives you a little bit of a better idea about the Trench Crusade situation, and then we will do a little bit of a good old-fashioned Devian wait and see about their new Discord, and how that's going to get off the ground, and whether or not they will actually allow people from, well, opposing political views to participate in their game, or if they are going to double down on pure progressivism. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see, as I would prefer it if Trench Crusade could be simply occupied rather than invaded. Scarfield Strange, my own pending fantasy world revolves around a throne that controls the minds of everyone, and the players are the only free-thinking people left. That does sound like a pretty terrible place to be in. And Sir John has been a member for 17 months. You shouldn't buy stuff from people who hate you. Buy secondhand if you have to. Oh, I entirely agree. Remember, Etsy is a thing. It has countless models from pretty much every setting you can think of, and they are going to be half or a third of the price of official models. Don't want to support Games Workshop, but still want to play 40k? Well, the models on Etsy are virtually indistinguishable from official ones, to the point where White Dwarf, the Games Workshop magazine, actually featured 3D printed models.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Sometimes the memes make themselves. Right. Until next time, chat. I will see you all again soon. And have a very good night. Thank you for your super generous donations and for hanging out with me as we talk the Trench Crusade drama debacle.